Sawyer. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors to take their vitamins, wash their damn hands and their ass, because this is Stuff and Things. And today I am joined by my good buddy JC Karnage, who unfortunately our camera guy has his camera in the way, so now you can see his face. But that's all right, because we actually have a sponsor for this thing, and I promise we're going to talk here in a minute. But today's episode of Stuff and Things is brought to you by Dick Shark. Yes, this is a real thing. This is an actual movie. That is supposed to be a dick, but it's a shark. And that's a mouth. Use your imagination, but this movie is how long?
2 hours and 24 minutes.
2 hours and 24 minutes, and this man sat through every bit of it, probably except for the opening credits.
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, we're not going to talk about it. That's fine. We got stuff to talk about, but not about Dick Shark. It's already been plugged. Whoever made it, do you know who even made the damn thing?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's all we're going to get, because you don't deserve any more, because this is ridiculous, man. It's a dick, it's a shark. It doesn't make any sense. But JC Karnage is here. We have known each other, my good Lord Almighty, what, 11, 12 years?
2009, 2010?
2009, 10, somewhere in that area, and it's been a ride. I know you'd taken some time off, but you came back into the ring in, was it late or early October? I believe it was late October.
Late October.
Late October. Kicked my ass around a little bit, and then we had our historic half hour of hell match that only if you were in the Vincent's Eagles Lounge and some snippet clips on YouTube, some special people got to see it, but the rest of them, well, hell.
I don't remember much about that.
Yeah, it was a hell of a fight, I can tell you that. And if you missed it, well, I'm sorry. And if you were there, we went at it. We whooped the piss out of each other. I am not afraid to admit that at all. But sitting here, this is Stuff and Things. So this is just random. There's no format, even though I've got a couple things on a piece of paper right here that we are going to talk about. So Stuff and Things, should I go JC, or should I just go with the government name?
Do whatever makes you feel proud.
Well, you know, we're going to go with JC, because we're going to keep a little bit of K in this bitch. So anyway, and this is completely this is on the raw of it. So you're not getting any bleeps. The shit's going to stain. The fucks are going to fly. Hopefully the shit doesn't stain, because...
Dude, I do not want shit on these carpets.
Yeah, I don't either. I feel about that. What was I going to... The shit's going to sling. There we go. We can sling the shit. The fucks are going to fly, and... You know, that's just how it is. But the cool thing is, and I didn't even realize before we started doing this, we're both doing the orange drink. So I have my Dreamsicle Rain, which always makes me think of Zodiac. So hit up Zodimask Customs on Facebook for all your pro wrestling gear needs.
And we got the Stewart's Orange and Cream over here. I don't have anybody to plug for that, but check it out, Roll King. Shit's good.
Yeah, check Roll King. Yeah, check them out. But, that's all that is. And, in the business of professional wrestling, it's a crazy, mixed up, wild world where concussions happen and people are assholes and fans are fans. You guys, you watch us do our thing out there, and you can take it as absolute serious as you want to, and we appreciate that, but sometimes you got to calm it down a little bit, all right? But anyway, I've got a couple questions for you, just for the Stuff and Things sake. But, so what made you want to get in the business anyway?
Well, I started watching professional wrestling at an early age, like most people do.
Right.
4 years old, 5 years old, roughly. It was what I always wanted to do. It was one of those things where, watching, Jake the Snake Roberts, of course Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, the usuals that everybody names off, but Roddy Piper was always a favorite of mine. Watching those guys growing up, and even getting into the 90s era with Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon and everybody like that, it was one of those things where I would always see them reacting with the fans and how the fans reacted with them, as far as them being heroes to them, and I always wanted to be that hero figure to somebody else. And that's kind of where it started, and I had the opportunity, of course, when I was 14, I think. I had gotten a hold somehow. I don't even remember how I got a hold of somebody.
And back in those days, it was really hard. Right?
Oh, yeah. It was basically message boards. I mean, there was no texting, there was no emails, nothing of that nature. It was through message boards on on wrestling sites, and I found a place in North Vernon in Seymour, Indiana, which is about 3 hours east of here, and put a word out on there. Somebody got a hold of me. I traveled 3 hours to go see what it was about. I trained for a day or so. They told me to come back. Every week after that, I would go to school during the week. When Friday hit, I would leave Friday night, drive with a few other people to Seymour, stay the weekend, go home on Sunday, repeat the process.
Yep.
For about 6 months.
Yeah.
Give or take.
Yeah, I was gonna say the weekends were definitely where it was at when it came to training. I know I did the same thing. Not my initial training, because my initial training I actually got hurt, and I was already like 22 years old. But with me, it was Paris, Illinois, where I went to before getting hooked up with, Josh Totten and homicidal Stephen Davis over in Olney. But where I originally lived, they came over that way, and we pretty much trained in a field. And good old crop circle wrestling is what we used to call it. But
sounds promising.
It was something. It happened, and now we can move on. But so what wrestler really hooked you? Like coming in, was there anybody like just had that damn, this guy's amazing? Like for me, we talk about favorites and everything. For me, Davey Boyd, British Bulldog is my all-time favorite, with Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect being a close number 2.
Man, that's a tough question. People that I wouldn't say the people that were my favorites were the ones that really hooked me in, but because, some of my favorites of all time are going to be The Undertaker, Austin, those of course are names that everybody throws out there.
Right, more like in that attitude era, kind of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One of my absolute favorites, honestly, is Tommy Dreamer.
All right.
I was always a Dreamer fan. He may not have been the best in-ring performer,
mm-hmm.
but the heart the guy had for the business, that's what made him.
Sure did, man.
Jericho, another one. That's a big name. I still mark out for Jericho every time I see him.
Yeah.
Malenko was another one.
Nice.
Doesn't get enough credit. But those guys, I think, were probably the ones that I admire the most. They may not be the best in-ring workers or the best, if you put together a Mount Rushmore of wrestling personalities, you probably won't see them there, but those are the guys that really hooked me.
Right. That makes sense, and a lot of it, like, honestly, we wrestle for a company called Tri-State Wrestling, which is in Vincennes, Indiana. You can catch them, once a month at least or so, but we gotta wait until all this, outbreak BS is over with and everything. But honestly, a lot of it when it comes to TSW, I always kind of thought that about you, like in a way, like you were to me that very much like that Tommy Dreamer of TSW, just because whether the wins happened a lot or not and everything, I always saw the heart. I always saw like, this guy can take an ass whooping, but he sure as hell can give one too. And like, I always really closely associated you with a Tommy Dreamer type. So that's what I
always went for.
Yeah, that one, it fits. I mean, to a damn T. And one thing a lot of people might not realize or know about you, it's like, I don't know what the hat is. It's a damn Cubs hat.
It is Cubs hat.
It's a Cubs hat.
Thank you.
Cubs fan, Cardinals fan. We're gonna fight regardless. We will probably fight forever. But right now we're civil and we're cool because we both have orange drinks and stuff. And speaking of orange, it's close to an orange kind of shirt, more like a peach maybe.
No, that's definitely orange.
That's definitely orange. Okay, the light's throwing me off, so and I'm old as shit. But no, Michael Myers, definitely repping that. You wear a lot of horror stuff because you are a big horror fan.
I am.
So, what would you happen to say you've got a favorite? I don't know if we call them like, okay, wrestlers. We have superstars, right?
Sure.
Do we have horror stars?
We have horror villains.
Horror villains. Okay, close enough. I'm not the biggest horror guy. Like I was a big Jason guy. So I'm good with that. But like, what's your guy?
Guy-wise, let's go probably Michael.
Yeah, Michael? Okay.
Movie-wise, probably The Shining. Shining. Okay. It's one of those where I watched it a lot growing up, but I didn't really realize the symbolism and I can't talk right now.
It's symbolism. You're going to
It
say
is
symbology,
It's
which takes me back to Boondock Saints movie when they're talking about in the hotel room where everybody died, and they're asking about what's the symbology.
Symbolism.
Symbolism. Willem Dafoe, man, come on now. H.S. Smecker.
All right. Anywho,
So good. Thank you for that.
okay, the symbolism
There it is.
That might get cut.
of the movie until later on, and it surpassed my then number one, which was The Lost Boys, which definitely does not get enough credit.
Exactly. Kiefer Sutherland, man. He everybody just thought they knew him from 24, and then way back, man. You had The Lost Boys. Me, myself, and you can judge me if you want. I don't give a damn. The Cowboy Way with Kiefer Sutherland and Woody Harrelson. Love that movie. I'm not even gonna complain, bitch, or anything. And we need to find it in a. There goes my pen. But we need to find it at a pawn shop because I know it's there.
At a pawn shop?
At a pawn shop, or if you want, we might as well plug this bastard in here.
Go for
You
it.
might as well go with the Piggy Bank Pawn Shop in Vincennes, Indiana, 1107 Main Street. We are open from 10 till 6, Monday through Friday, and then on Saturdays 10 to 4. Come on in, check it out. There's the plug.
Get that
I had to
in there.
do it, but it's all good. So, talking about we got the horror in. Talked about what got you hooked in the business. Now we skip forward quite a few years, or however many years, until our paths crossed. The first time you and I wrestled, wasn't pretty at all. And here's the thing: you didn't know about it until shortly before it was supposed to happen.
2 hours before the event.
2 hours before it was supposed to happen, and then you get word you're wrestling some new guy, and yeah. So what was going through your mind in that? Because I know I didn't know what to expect, to be completely honest with
This
you.
was at the Fort Branch Fall Festival for AWF, and I went to the event thinking that I was working a buddy of mine named Richie.
Right, you had wrestled multiple
Oh
times.
God, I don't know how many times I've ever.
Probably lost count.
I know that guy working in the ring like the back of my hand, so I was confident 100% that we were going to put on a damn good match.
Right.
I get to the event, getting in the back, getting all of our stuff together and everything. I get called out by Walter Barron.
Good old Walter Barron.
Yes, and he tells me that they've had a change of plans. They're going to change me up. They're going to have Richie work somebody else, and they were bringing me in to work a guy by the name of Cody Ray Strong.
Oh no, the ghost of Davenport, Iowa.
Yeah, so I ask him who that guy is because I've never heard of him before. He brings up a picture. Before I get to this event, I'm thinking I'm working this 150, 160 pound guy that's scrawny as hell, can throw him around and everything else. Walt turns the phone to me and shows me a picture of you, and it's like a mini Brock Lesnar.
God, it sure was, man. I was baby-faced, no hair on my face, hair on my head, which is a stretch to
I was
anybody
going to
that
say, you had like
realized.
the...
It was the reverse, man.
Yeah,
So-
and all jacked and everything with the MMA shorts.
And then they
and
shorts, my warrior fight shorts.
camo shorts or whatever.
Were they camo?
I think they were camo.
God, I don't even remember. I had like two different pair of them because I will admit, I was a big Brock guy back in the day because to me, I was always more in the wrestling sense attracted. I don't want to get no homophobia going on in here. So like the bigger guys with the
Okay,
power.
we're LGBT friendly.
The bigger guys with the power, like, obviously Bulldog's a favorite of mine. You had Hogan, you had Warrior. And then as you went on, you had bigger guys like, Batista and Brock and, even Kane back then, I was blown away at. But I was always like a Brock guy because he was a big farm kid. And so much like this tattoo I have on my Hulk and everything, I actually had that very, very similar, stupidly closely similar tattoo on my arm. And
I was saying.
yeah, it was pretty damn close. And I'm hoping I've already done it, but there's probably a picture that's already appeared that showed my Brockness, if you will. And I don't know what I was thinking back in the day. So I've smartened up a little bit, but I mean,
We Broadwayed that bitch that night too, didn't we?
we sure did. Well, what, 15 minutes?
10, 15.
10,
something like
15
that.
minutes, not knowing each other, like kind of getting a match together, but at the same time, like, I've been working for a little while, but when you work somebody that's brand new and you're maybe a couple years in, one of two things can happen. It can go well, you can have a passable match, or, I'm not saying we shit the bed, but it wasn't exactly your 5-star Meltzer going on.
It was crickets. We didn't get anything. There was nothing.
Shit. It sucked.
Yeah.
I'll admit it.
Yeah, there was nothing there.
Right. It wasn't until like, a couple years later that we finally get that chemistry with working each other so many times, and then we had some classic matches going into the Salvation Army cluster 2 out of 3 falls match for the TSW championship.
Boy, that was fun.
Whew, that was something, man. I'm telling you. Is it going?
Yep.
Okay, we're good. We had some technical oopsies right there. Difficulties? No, we have oopsies. So anyway, I guess we better get on with it. But I'm here to ask you because I've got to know. Who's your favorite Ninja Turtle? Yeah, I put him on the spot like that. I can't do that right yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
That's not the end.
It's not time yet.
I'm gonna go Leonardo. Leonardo.
See, I figured I would have pigeonholed you as more like a Michelangelo kind of guy.
Everybody
maybe
says
it's
that.
the orange,
I got
Stewart's
orange
cream
shirt,
set.
orange cream set. I got,
right. You
I'm
would
a
think
ginger.
mine.
I get with the orange there, but
Right. Yeah, I'm more of a Raphael guy, man. It's like that whole I've got tattoos that says anger is a gift, and Raph, like, maybe not so much on the cartoons, but like the movie wise, kind of a dick, and he was always kind of pissed at something or someone. So
that is you.
that kind of pretty much is me. But so like skipping forward, so now we know the Ninja Turtle thing and everything. But
You
like,
gonna ask me my favorite Power Ranger too?
yeah, we can go that way. What's up? Oh, see, he asked me the question to ask him.
Hey man,
then he has to sit and think about
I just
it.
thought you were gonna go along with it.
We were going to go along with it. I mean, have at it. Who's your favorite Power Ranger then?
Green Ranger, man.
I got to go Tommy all the way. So
Yeah.
we're in agreement on that one. But no, are we going Green Ranger or like the White Ranger?
I'm going green.
Green, yeah, it has to be green.
Yeah.
Like, no offense to white, it's just too much.
Yeah.
It's just whatever. Green Ranger was the way to go. That Black Candle series, that was badass. But so getting on with it and everything, back into the wrestling aspect of it, which Jason David Frank, I'm pretty sure could get into a wrestling ring, and I would like to see that.
We should
Like,
get a sponsorship by him.
We should, and we should also get Joey O'Reilly, which I'm not wearing my I Hate Joey O'Reilly shirt today. I want to see those two in the ring, because Joey used to pull this whole Green Ranger little gimmick, if you will. See, that word just flashed up across the screen. But he used to portray like a kind of Power Ranger, because he used to flip, flop, fly, all this kind of crap all over the place. I want to see those two in a ring. That's a dream match right there. And I'm very, very sure that Joey would get his ass handed to him, I hope, anyway. But, so no, in the business, whether it be, in the ring, out of the ring, the shenanigans that happen backstage, because let's face it, there's a lot of stuff that happens that way.
Good things and bad.
Good and bad
there are
things.
some sites that you just never ever want to see or think about ever again.
Yeah, but then there's ones you can't, like, you could have a blowtorch and you can't burn that shit out of your skull, man. It's bad. But what would you say would be your best memory?
Ever?
I would say ever in the wrestling aspect that you've
In the
experienced.
wrestling aspect.
Right.
Okay, let's go back to 2001.
I graduated high school that year, if that makes you feel any better.
No, it doesn't. Go to 2001.
I'm
Me
an
and,
old ass.
me and a bunch of guys that I went to school with, we had, like most kids did back then, they dabbled in the backyard wrestling.
Yep.
So did I. We had a fed called Vincent's Championship Wrestling.
Good old VCW.
Held shows on Thursday evenings, Thursday afternoon mayhem, even though afternoon, it was more so evening. After we had hooked up with some of the guys that we were training with in Seymour, fast forward to 2002, we had the opportunity to use one of their rings. We ran our own VCW official show and we ran it at the Sacred Heart Gym in Vincennes in the upstairs gymnasium and sold that bitch out.
Nice.
I think it was 250 to 300 is all that would fit in there, which doesn't seem like a ton, but we
Hey,
packed
in
a
those early
standing
days,
room
man,
only.
that's an awesome crowd.
Yeah, and I mean, for most of us that were doing the backyard wrestling, we never had any kind of in-ring experience. So before the match or before the show even started, we had a few guys coming in and helping train some of the guys that had never been. Of course, a lot of them we ended up throwing in a battle royal because.
Of course, that's what you do when you've got a multitude of people you don't know what to do with.
Yep.
So,
But we had the opportunity to work with a lot of people that ended up actually becoming something. I had the opportunity to be in the same ring with Jason Ayers,
Yep.
who is now
Ayers.
an official referee for WWE.
Damn good dude.
Working on SmackDown.
Yep.
Had the chance to book, I didn't work with him, but we booked Colt Cabana, who you can now see on AEW Dynamite.
Right.
Shark Boy.
Former NWA World Champion also. Throwing that out there.
That
Two
too.
time NWA World Champion.
And he ended up working Shark Boy that night, who was somebody else that guy doesn't get enough credit.
He really doesn't, to be honest. Like, a lot of people kind of shit on him, but, the dude did his work. He did awesome. Like, there was the what do we want to call it? The Shark Boy that went the Austin route, if you will, but we try not to really think about that too much.
You know what? Give him a show, yeah. It was great. Come on.
I was waiting for. I didn't know if I was going to say it or if he was going to say it.
No,
but
you good. No. He's a good dude. Let's see. Cabana brought Jimmy Jacobs. So got to work with Jimmy too, which he still actually, a couple years after the show and everything, saw him at an IWA Mid-South show, and he actually still remembered who the hell we were and the show. So it was kind of cool. That was the only show that we ever ran, but I think altogether that was probably one of my favorite memories because I never got the chance to ever run a show again. And doing that at that young of an age, I was only 15, and actually booking most of these people at 15 years old and having them, take us serious enough to be booked by somebody that young, it was crazy. But yeah, we got it done. We paid everybody. We ended up actually, we had a sponsorship by the American Cancer Society and the Relay for Life, and after we paid everybody, we had quite a bit of money left, and we ended up donating all that money.
Oh,
So
nice.
it was great.
So it was a good memory, a good experience, and you got to give back.
Oh yeah,
So
absolutely.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, we've got a lot of stuff, like, we're going to talk in, like, bullshit after this is over because, let's face it, I know us. We're going to probably go watch some ancient material that John and I have done, which, I just want to say,
JC, dude.
oh, my bad. Hopefully I bleeped that out. It's JC, goddammit. Kane is pissed right now.
Mm-hmm.
But, no, I do want to congratulate you and myself, actually, on still being the longest reigning current AWF Tag Team Champions. Like, we're like 7 years running now.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. We don't have the titles. There were the mini, small replica ECW Tag Team titles. But, hey, we have not been beat for those things yet.
No, they looked like when you see Big Show carrying the actual ECW title, that's about the...
I was going to say the U.S. title.
Well, that too.
Either one. I mean, they're probably...
Just throw it on the shoulder and let it hang.
And just let it hang.
That
Yeah,
goes.
it's ridiculous. Which, thank you to Matt Maverick, because I'm pretty sure he still has those somewhere. But, yeah, so everybody that's been stuffing things, I've been Bo Sawyer. This is JC Karnage. Now I'll get your name right. I haven't forgot it. I just sometimes I get old and you get these little flubs and you just kind of mess up. But, next time, who knows who's going to be on here. But let's face it, stuff and things are going to happen. Stuff and things are going to get talked about. And stuff and things will always, always happen. So until next time, ready for this? Now I can do it.